All right, guys, so here we are for episode 6 of season 4, Black Mirror. What'd you think about this one? It's almost like a clip show.
I liked it a lot.
I enjoyed having the... this one had the more Twilight Zone vibe because you got like 3 little stories.
Oh my God.
But they were darker and more beautiful than anything else we've had.
This might be one of my favorite things. This was super perfect. This like when you talk, and I do every time we have one of these talks, where I'm like, what is Black Mirror? What is it supposed to be or whatever? This is like the perfect like angle of it, right? And they almost like they took several things that could have been good enough to be like their own thing.
Yes.
Crammed it together. It's like those old like Tales from the Crypt or Creep Show or something like that.
Sure.
Where like it's like 4 stories of horror, and then like the old lady tells 3 stories, and like the 4th story is now the kids and the old lady and like the thing. And I go, oh, this like weird like super into that. Super awesome.
Yeah, definitely all wrapped up in a nice button. So the first story was the guy who had the probe in his neck that he could feel things that other people are feeling.
Yeah.
So like that's cool, and the science behind that doesn't even sound too fictitious because you could see someone like, no, if I actually could know what they were feeling, I would know how to diagnose them. I'd know if they're faking. I would know like, oh, what is that? That's weird. But this guy totally you know, gets totally sucked into it, takes it a little too far.
Things kind of get out of hand, but what makes it you know, I feel better about my like not criticism but like thoughts on episode 5 because like I think even they were like, let's make episode 5 this like short film and kind of like cleanse the palate, and we don't have to
destroy them with episode 6.
Like we don't have to get too Black Mirror-y on their asses right now because don't worry, episode 6 is gonna be so fucking Black Mirror that we can't even fucking, because again, this is the first season I've ever watched. I'm new to all this, but this felt exactly, because in the beginning, like you're saying, right, you know, everything seems reasonable, and like that's the scary part of these things is you could see like, yeah, you would want like a thing to like keep track of your kid, or you would want like, you know, game worlds get more and more advanced in like every fucking episode, right? So like, it's very reasonable to have a diagnostician that can like feel all of your sensations and all that stuff, and to have that same creepy guy be like the head of neurotech or biotech or whatever, and be like, we have this awesome idea that we could do for you or something. And
just the way that smimey bitch talks, like
he's great.
He sucks you in with his horrible shit, and then you're just fucked.
He was a great host and like storyteller, and to have him to cut back and forth to him in the past and like him now telling the story and then showing you him in the story and telling it and all that stuff, and like usually no discrepancies, which was awesome.
Yeah,
but
no, it was pretty interesting. So the first one, again, he goes fucking mad,
too far.
And like, you know, a patient dies while he's hooked up to him.
I know.
And now like his synapses are fried and he can only enjoy pain, and just like that guy's face as he was enjoying like the pain of that woman have like a heart attack or something, and then like she dies because of it. You're like, oh my God, this guy's a fucking freak. Well, and he's like beating his girl. He's fucking mutilating himself.
No, like it goes too far. Like I love him putting it on his girlfriend's head and them just fucking like early on. Yeah, because that's the kind of stuff like we always say. Because someone gets some weird powers, and I'm like, do these powers help in the bedroom? Like, do these powers help? Like,
you wouldn't think they would let him take that thing out of the hospital, though. You'd think like that costs so much. It's a prototype.
Exactly. No, it's like kind of crazy and like doesn't make sense or whatever. But still,
for the sake of the story,
awesome to like touch on. Or to have it matter that this person's all right, because someone gets some weird powers or like abilities or implants, and then you're all like, what happens at the grocery store? Some dumb shit like that, and they actually address it here. But then the payoff of that, because like that's already going too far. He like breaks up with his girlfriend because he wants to like fuck her up because that makes him feel super good now.
I love the like when it's like, oh, I'm sorry, and he like pinches her a couple times. I'm like, you're a sick.
This fucking shit or whatever. No, that's crazy, and it shows how like deprived he is. And then like the like body horror, like medical horror shit of him like fucking mutilating himself.
And he doesn't even do it in places you can't see.
No.
Like, he's just like, nah, let me Frankenstein this shit.
Whatever like hurts the most or hurts differently and makes him like feel something.
Very strange.
And that's terrifying. Like, a lot of that stuff's like the most terrifying things. I think I never watched Dr. Giggles because I thought that's what that would be. Like, having, like...
Dr. Giggles. I have that one.
It was a horror movie about, like, a doctor who enjoyed... It's basically the character from Little Shop of Horrors, only real, where he likes hurting patients or whatever the fuck. I think, again, I don't think I ever watched it. I just saw, like, a thing for it.
I have it on VHS.
Or whatever. All right, we should do that for our shitty movie review show. Now, that stuff's, fucking horrible, and like it all coming to that crescendo at the end and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, like when the old lady dies, and like the storyteller narrator guy actually says, like an alcoholic watching him pour some like great scotch down the down the drain, he's freaking out and fighting the guards. I was like, that's like a perfect analogy.
Like this is I felt bad for him because like I'm like this is a horrible thing to be stuck with, and like clearly he can't beat this like. It's like an addiction that like he's not powerful enough for, and I don't even know if a human has the willpower to beat it because it's like synthetically altered him with this thing that's in his body and this experience that he has now gone through.
That's what's so perfect is that you can't even say suck it up, man, because literally no other human being ever knows what that feels like. So it might be something that even the best of us could never resist and would be overwhelming, and it would turn you into this monster, literally and figuratively.
And then, like, that poor homeless dude who, like, he just, like, pins down and starts drilling him in the brain, which it seemed like he was drilling right through the little hat thing.
There's little holes in the...
I know, but it's a weird risk to take. Because, like, couldn't you just picture, like, and, like, it sucks it up and, like, destroys it?
That like made me like go like, oh, like
you'd think he'd go for like the heart or the arms, like drag it out. He like seemingly went to kill him like right away.
Yeah, I think he wanted the death or something. He wanted like the whatever or something like that. I get what you're saying, and I totally felt the same way. It was kind of a weird like he could have. I don't know if he went in through like the eye socket or something horrible.
So, well, that I'm sure that would boost his fear sensor when he saw that drill bit getting close to his eyeball.
God damn. Oh, and that whole angle is like, well, the pain was fine, but really there was a missing ingredient: the fear, the terror. Ugh. You had to inflict that on others.
That is horrible, though.
Yeah.
Just seeing that dude in the bathroom, like ripping his teeth out. There's like a bit of his toe on the ground, like he's just
that's
his
horrible.
Like Achilles tendon looks like he tried to cut it. Like I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
No,
he's ridiculous.
Super fucked up. And that's the horrible shit. That's what, like again, it's like Black Mirror. It's kind of like rated R or not rated, right?
Yeah.
You can show some butts, maybe a titty, and some gruesome shit. You get a Twilight Zone vibe. It's like this is exactly what I want.
Sure.
And that was only 1/3 of this whole episode.
Yeah. So then the next part is the dude. I like him from the show Leverage. He was in Straight Outta Compton. He plays a character who was
he was really good.
Yeah,
interesting.
I like him in a lot of things.
I didn't know he was in like any other things. I've never seen him before.
So his I don't think it's actually his wife yet. His girlfriend is going to take a picture of him and their son. Gets hit by a truck or a car or a van.
Excellent non-anticipatory camera, which is a word I learned on the Identity soundtrack because of van. It's commentary, not soundtrack.
Sideswipes.
Yeah, like a van hits a guy. And on the audio commentary, like the director or John Cusack or somebody, they were really proud. They were like, in every other movie, the camera frames the shot to make room for like the truck, and we made sure to frame it evenly so you would not know, and we think we really pulled it off. I was like, awesome. Or whatever.
I do like when a person is far right on a frame and they get hit from the far right, and you're like, oh, we didn't do.
Because your mind naturally says, this is my
There's
focal
empty
point.
Space,
what's going on over here, right? And she was like, like roughly in the middle, and just out of nowhere, right?
I had a feeling.
Of course, yeah. But she was like backing up into the road and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it looked almost like in first glance it was a bike path, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh god,
oh dear, yeah, because they don't show any other cars going by, right? They do a very good job of like, it came out of nowhere.
So she gets hit, she's dead. For all intents and purposes. She's in a horrible coma, has the ability to like green light, red light, yes, no answers on things.
And that technology, they totally breezed past it. That's an amazing piece of technology by itself. You could do a whole episode about that, about the terror of being locked in your own mind and only being able to say yes or no.
But they give her this great opportunity. We can get her out of there. We can give her a chance to see your son again, to do things and whatever.
To hug him,
she's going
to feel him, to know him.
Inside your head, piggybacking.
Yeah.
You only use 40% of your mind's space.
Yeah, that part I don't know.
Yeah, that's not real. But that's fine.
And we should
They also say compression, something or other.
Yeah, so like I'm totally fine with that, but we should always address that whenever it comes up. You don't use like all of your brain at once, right? But you use a lot of it most like for like different stuff, and there are certain small sections that like you need a lot of or something like that, right? I'm not a brainologist, but I'm pretty sure that makes no sense, but I don't care.
But it was cool, the idea of someone piggybacking in your head.
Yeah.
But of course that would go wrong. Like even just having anyone hang around you all the time, it's not going to be great.
So like my immediate thought when they suggested it was like, wait, you're gonna meet some other girl, and she's gonna be like, excuse me. It's gonna be this really awkward situation, right? That's what like that. He was so blinded by the opportunity for this person that he loved to get back or whatever, right?
Yeah. But then, through the conflict, they get a resolution, and that's the ability to pause the person.
I know.
And that is almost the most terrifying part of this for me, is the idea of, like, you're like, well, what happened? What? It's October. You've been paused for 2 months.
What's with the pumpkin? Baby, I'm sorry. You're just like, oh, shit.
So just the idea of jumping, like, around in your time, because you have a limited amount of time, a finite amount of time on this earth. And the idea that you are just stuck to these little moments where you have no control. You're just watching anyway. And that gets cut down to weekends, and you're like weekend. And my mind immediately went like, all right, there's 52 weeks a year. She lives like, not even half the year, just jumping through life. I'm like, eventually her son will be in college, and then what are even the weekends worth? Nothing.
I thought they were gonna go to like that degree or something like that. It's gonna
but
be really
the way
strange.
they went was pretty good too.
Oh yeah.
And like, so he does meet a girl. And she doesn't like it, and the girl wants a weekend here, and that's not totally unreasonable.
So, like, she's great, too, because I'm sorry to do
Sure.
In a lot of these stories, like, because, again, she's not real. She's a copy of the consciousness, right?
Yes.
This is a whole ethical, moral, and like, he, like, on the nose is it, where they're like, we could delete her, and he goes, like, that would be killing her, and it's like, and the girlfriend was the perfect, like, audience proxy to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You have, like, software in your head, like, some freak. Like, it's not really your wife, like, shut up. Because like the way they film this and how they represent it with her like in the chair just like watching and freaking out and all that stuff makes you connect with her as like a person, but the person's dead. She's literally dead.
Yes.
There's no more person, and this is what the show is about, are these like ethical, moral like dilemmas or whatever, but she's really just a copy of the person. There's no more person. There's nothing happening. It's just her responding the way she would, because we've developed the ability to like replicate the consciousness somewhere else or something.
And we've also developed batteries that last forever.
Oh, well, I don't worry about batteries.
But that part would be the scariest part to me, is if I was put into something that, like, this is powered by something, right? What's powering it?
Oh, like the monkey part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if it's like it's nuclear physics or something, you're like, well, what happens if the speaker breaks or the camera breaks? I'm just trapped. I'm trapped.
Yeah. Well, they didn't give her like a choice, right? She just
had no options.
She woke up in the box.
And why would it only give you two fucking things to say?
I know.
I love you. I need a hug or something.
Yeah. Monkey loves you.
Yeah.
Monkey needs a hug, and it's just a smiley face and frown face. I loved the scene when the girlfriend is like, "Give me that for a second," and goes like into the hallway and is like, "Listen, bitch." Like that was this takes it so much further. Like other shows would have like a point to make, and let's just make our point and not get too like weird about it, right? But like him taking a leak and him arguing and him checking out a girl, like all these different weird things just to show you like, oh, yeah, like that's fuck.
It's halfway brutal, and the other half is just brutal. Like,
so we're looking at like 3/4 of brutality.
Think about being trapped,
in
a fucking doll.
Oh, God.
And you're stuck there.
You can't move.
And they don't tell the son your mother's in this doll.
No.
So he's not loving it like he should. He could have left it on a bus, like anything, and you're just there forever, now staring at garbage because they throw you away. Like,
right, now, is that better than being dead?
No.
Possibly, right?
I don't know that it is.
Well, because
like, why not have a little bit of fucking sympathy and put me in front of a TV or something? Like, what are you doing?
No, I know. Like, well,
you go crazy.
So that's the whole thing, right? Is that you can look at this like it's her, or you can look at this like this is this image of her that like responds like her, and like we're like honoring this to whatever degree, but we're not going to go too far with it. That's crazy, right? You can. It's crazy, but the show does an awesome job from episode 1, and like now and probably in the middle that I don't have a memory of, accessible. They do a great job of like representing the artificial simulated intelligences in a way that you like empathize with, which is the point of this, right? Because you could just say, yeah, he downloaded his wife into his head or some shit, started talking to himself, he was all crazy, and then he tried to like delete her, and that got weird, so he put it in like a doll, and now it's a war crime. I don't know. Like that story just is like, oh fuck, don't do that. But like we got to watch every brutal minute of every day of like
if you were in something that had the ability to walk and move, like that would be something. Even if you had limited speech but could move.
That's where I thought this was like going. Is like it was going to be like a Chucky horror movie where she's in like an animatronic doll or something. And then when you realize it's like just a doll or whatever. That's like fuck.
Yeah, that's. It's honestly the worst, because think about solitary confinement.
Yeah.
But at least you can move in your little cube. You can talk to yourself or out loud or somebody. Like you get food every day. This person gets nothing.
Yeah.
They're just stuck looking wherever you put them, which could be face down.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And every time they have an actor in the chair with like the screen to like represent this, they always make sure like their elbows and everything, they're like glued to the chair, as the guy puts it, right?
Yeah.
It's not even implied that you could like, because if they had her like pacing back and forth and like thinking and like bouncing like a ball against the like fake edge of the wall or something, you might have more sympathy. But this is clearly like you are like Dunzo or whatever.
Ugh. Wouldn't want that shit to happen ever.
No one would, I think, which is why now. So, like, I love that too, where he's like, okay, apparently it's not humane unless they can express 5 emotions or whatever.
I was even trying to think. I'm like, what would the 5 emotions be that you'd want? Like,
and that would be that exact scenario, except you have, like maybe
a straight-lined face and an angered face.
Yeah, you have like 5 icons, right? I would like maybe you like hit a button and you can talk, and then like it will talk or whatever, right? Something like that.
That would be much better.
Why was that hard to do?
Or why not, like, why emotions? Why not 5 words? Like,
that you
yes and no are huge.
Or you could type or something, right?
Potentially. The technology is so advanced that the idea that it stops there, I'm like, is that just, like, what?
They go through that by being like, well, this was the prototype, this was, like, the day one, like, thing. But I don't know why they couldn't transfer her
again
somewhere else.
Again?
Yeah, to some, like better modern approved thing or something like that. Because he says, like, it's illegal to delete her, though, so she's here fucking forever, right? Yeah. Yeah, like not knowing what that doll was and then having the story, like, eventually reveal it and then flesh it out as you're cutting back and forth to her looking at it. And, like, the doll was watching the whole story. Like, she saw.
Sure.
And they never cut back to that actress, I think, which is brilliant.
Yeah, no.
Because now it's just, Monkey loves you. It's just the doll, like, fucking sitting there, which is like, ugh.
Now, here's something I was thinking, too. Is that if you're in this coma because your brain is dead, not your body is dead.
That was one of my major things.
I didn't get. I was like, because you see in a lot of the movies, like, we put your consciousness in this person that had a coma, like, type of thing. And this is like, I'm like, this is the exact opposite. This is saying that the body is fine, or the body is not fine, but the mind is fine.
Right. You're permanently unconscious for reasons that don't affect your brain. Right. It doesn't make sense or whatever.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Or your consciousness could be in a part that, like, maybe the part of your brain that lets your body move is dead, but your consciousness is still fine somewhere else.
Yeah,
and like that could make sense, because like your computer could be broken, but your hard drive could still work.
Yeah, and they could have hand-waved that. They could have said something about that.
At the time, I didn't even think about it. It didn't bother me at all. It was only upon like reflection on the episode, like, well, how did I like that? Ooh, that was horrible. In the sense, like, I didn't want to go through it, but like,
yes,
there's also little bits here where you always pick up, like, well, that didn't make sense, did it?
No, and like that's where I wonder, like, had they put in, like, had they had that guy, had they added like 2 sentences to one of his like speeches where he said like, okay, now her amygdala has been mostly destroyed, and that's unfortunate. However, her prefrontal cortex and her whatever and like this lobe are fine.
Yes.
And we believe that we can transfer her consciousness. Like, had he said that, would that improve the episode or like not matter at the end of the day? Like, certain things I wonder about.
When he first said we could do the pauses, I was like, well, we could do. I thought it was gonna be a thing where she gets to control the body on certain days and he doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been. I actually was thinking about that too, because like at first I was like, there's new characters. Okay, whatever. I kind of liked the Doctor, and now there's these characters and as I saw that I thought he was a good actor. I thought he was gonna end up having to act like her for whatever reason, and like she would be like in charge. Yeah. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, he does a lot of accents and stuff in the show Leverage. Like he's a good actor.
He had a good
like him a lot
because he does a lot of talking to the mirror and then talking to the Doctor, and then he has to show that he's hiding emotions, which is like a hard thing I think to do. And I was impressed by him.
Yeah. So this all comes to a head here.
Holy shit!
Where you find out the woman who's even on this tour of the Black Museum is she meets.
Can we
I didn't phrase this exactly right.
Well, can we pause briefly though, because it's called the Black Museum. There's a couple of Easter eggs that you catch in like the beginning, which make no sense and are super weird.
Lollipop,
but I loved. Yes,
which doesn't make sense because the lady stole the lollipop. So unless she got caught, how did that get in the museum?
So why is the lollipop there? I believe also the Archangel
I wasn't sure if that was it. It looked like it could have been, but I was like that could be anything.
I don't think the screen was cracked in the same way, which is a weird complaint. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know how many they produced. introduced, but like as you're zipping around, so I've only seen season 4. I don't know if the other artifacts there were actually
I was trying to like
supposed
be
to
like,
be.
is that this thing or whatever?
Because there's
not
probably
sure.
other Black Mirror episode Easter eggs in there that I just didn't pick up on because
But it was cool.
they weren't in there. But yeah, the Black Museum. That's why going into this, I had that vibe of like, oh, it is like a clip show. It is like a thing, and I was wondering what like. This goes so far beyond that we're about to get into, just like telling a few smaller stories or whatever, right?
Sure.
Which is awesome. But that they pepper in the fact that like everything that this show is like about is like represented by this museum and more and different and weird and all these different whatever's like nice.
It was
World
definitely
building.
like an interesting museum too. So the part I kind of breezed over was the main attraction is a serial
Behind
it's
the
a
curtain,
killer
Stefan.
that is like in permanent solitary confinement after his death.
Yes.
And you can pull a switch, and it zaps him right back in the electric chair, and you can kill him.
Yeah, and as they reveal that, that's more and more... Because, like, at first I'm like, wait, so he's just imprisoned forever? His life sentence goes on until this other guy dies, or maybe after that? Like, that's insane. Yeah. And then to find out that the whole attraction was to kill him over and over again, and that people were into that? That's so weird.
It does not surprise me at all that people would be into that.
Oh.
Especially because it's once removed. Oh, it's a hologram. This guy's a murderer. Like you can wash away a lot of human rights.
But why would you even want to do that in the first place?
That's Midwest.
Oh, why are we being so racist?
I don't think that's a race.
I don't know.
The Midwest.
Why would Midwesterners wanna fry people more than other people?
Well, they literally do because they had the electric chair for far longer than anyone else, and they might still have it. Everyone else said it was inhumane. They enjoy it.
I don't
they like everything fried.
I don't think that they enjoy pulling the lever and watching someone suffer. I think that they just have a different idea about capital punishment, my friend.
I think they like it.
I don't know.
We can ask them. We'll take a poll.
Not that was like a weird part or like a failure of the episode or something like that, but it was just a thing where I was like, holy shit, was this ever popular? Because she says like we should dig into the whole thing, right? She's there's an awesome heel turn if you want to call it that, where she fucking reveals, and you knew something was up, right? The AC's out, he's sweating, he's coughing. She gives him like
drinks all her water,
and like when he drinks all the water, that was an obvious tell that like something was going on, but you didn't quite know like what was going on.
Like, because he felt more scumbaggy than he should. And the whole time you kind of think, like, is he going to kill her? Because he goes through her bag, and then he's holding keys, and I thought those were her keys at first, but those were just his keys because he uses those to open the monkey enclosure later.
Yeah. So I thought, right, something clearly is going to happen. He says, like, you're the only one today, and it kind of feels like they're in the middle of nowhere. It's sort of like run down and weird, and like, why is this thing even here? Why are you giving me this tour alone? Right. So I thought that part of the coup de grace was going to be, and now I need your brain scan or some weird thing like that. I have to kill you. So it was interesting that it was like the opposite, but they explain.
Yeah, so she is the daughter of this man who is, there. He frames it up as like, oh no, the family didn't even protest. They didn't even like him. Blah, blah, blah.
And that I think was the one time that his story was like immediately shown in like, as we're showing you the story to be false.
Yes.
They cut from him saying, I didn't give a fuck. Can you imagine? They abandoned him immediately. Cuts like the wife and like the hands on the glass.
Yeah.
And like, baby, this is your
brain.
This is
your soul. You can't
do this. Yeah, and all this shit. And you're like, oh.
I wonder if he also got screwed out of the money. They never really say that. Like, did she actually get a percentage of cash? Did she get anything?
Oh, I assume not. I assume they just got fucked in her.
That was my guess, but I would have liked them to have shown it.
Yeah.
So she's there on a revenge mission. She's lost her father, is on show here, dying all the time. Her mother killed herself because of this.
Yeah.
Which I did not like the twist there, where the mother's in her head.
So that's
I was
where,
like, what? That's a little too much.
That's where the Black Mirror episode builds stuff, here 3 times, right? And they like weave together, like we have to establish the idea that we can like transfer sensations or that fake sensations can be real. We have to establish this idea that like someone can live in someone else's head and what that might imply, and the transferring of consciousness is like fully as like people, and then we establish that we can suck that consciousness out and like project it into like a certain enclosure, and that can be for all intents and purposes real. But then we keep escalating, we keep going, and the mom is in her head or whatever, where it's like, okay, so I found her, you son of a bitch. Okay, so she found her mother and they rushed to the hospital, but she was like dying anyway, and even though that guy left that program and that didn't work out at all with the doll, and it was like a Geneva Convention violation or something like that. They still
With
transferred
the
your mom
dolls, I think
into your head.
it's okay to be in your own head.
Yeah, but I feel like that case study results in like this did not go well, not recommended for future implementation.
Probably.
Right? Which is not the end of the world, and we live in the Black Mirror world, which is the real world, which is where shit's like this and can be weird and sucks or whatever. But yes, very strange.
The reason I was okay with it as it might be more commonplace than not is that the girl who the guy actually hooks up with doesn't find it strange at all. She it seems like oh yeah, that might be a thing we do because because I was like
okay,
there was no like what. Your ex-wife's in your head.
They have his daughter drop in a line where he goes while while they're walking to the monkey doll, they have this exchange where like he says something like, "Are you familiar with consciousness restoration and transference or some crazy thing?" And she says, "Oh, like when they upload old people to the cloud."
Yeah.
Like they kind of establish, and with that like coma yes no machine
sure it's standard.
You have this feeling that like things are crazy enough and far enough in the future enough that this is like not the most unheard of thing.
Yeah.
But her mom was in her head.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like that's weird to me because I can't go back and rewatch the episode and like get anything out of that like twist. Right? It didn't change
was there
anything,
ever
right?
like or a nod or like anything?
Yeah, she never like turned her head and was like, I don't think that's true actually, or like did some weird like there was never like right.
Yeah.
Whereas her mom would have been in there like, he's lying, baby, get him, fuck him up, or whatever, right? And would be,
like, what if he
doing
didn't drink her drink? What if he this is his business? You don't think he has waters there? Yeah.
What if he had a like gigantic fridge of like delicious chilled water right there?
Yeah. How'd you feel about her then, like triggering it and it just like burns the place down? Like, let me just short this out. All right,
that
fire.
Was weird too. I didn't know if it had to happen that way, and it seemed like the metal fan blades were catching fire at first, which I'm like, we need to draw more fire in there. They don't think it's just not going to get it.
The fire didn't bother me as much as the idea of these keychains. That's like that's not just a picture. That's a snapshot of their actual like blah blah blah. And I was like, wait a minute, what?
Okay, so that's the other problem, right? Is like we built up all this groundwork to get us to this point, and we've shown it or whatever, right? So like how do we get him in there? Because we didn't scan his brain or like have the hologram. Like she can't like set up a whole hologram, right? But we established you can piggyback people. So now we'll say, and I'll believe it for like a minute. We can piggyback him into
I can put you inside a clone or inside a hologram.
Yeah, like into her dad and whatever or something like that. But I'm willing to go that far or whatever. But then like it all comes crashing back. Like, oh, we remembered, but he said like you get these souvenirs and it's like a copy that's suffering forever or something like that.
Yeah, so her dad's suffering all over the place forever, millions of places. Like
and all these keychains all like around the world because for a while buses were arriving daily of people who wanted to do this to each get one. And
it just screams, and she turns the volume down like that. It just screams all the time. That's what I was thinking.
It's just like constantly in that like worst pain of like your death or whatever. I think having him feel it and having him die like that is enough. I think like it's clearly and he says the word copy, and without that like other view of it, like without showing him in like a different chair with like a different situation to show that there is a him suffering, right? There was no. Like you could have made it up in your head, I guess, but there was no connection that he's really still suffering forever.
My issue with it, I think, was more that like if I copied your consciousness, I am copying it, and then I'm downloading it into the machine. Why does it have to go from one to the other? Why is it always gone? There's not a backup. So like when they fried him at like level 14, blah blah, it like put him into like that comatose vegetative state.
Yeah.
Should he not like be able to just upload the clone
exactly
again?
Right? Like why is there no backup of anything? And like. Each souvenir's a copy, right?
Yeah.
So you could just take the souvenir from yesterday and re-upload it as if it was that, right? Something.
I don't understand.
Well, maybe that's just a limited copy of those moments somehow.
I think that is just the moments, but you'd think this little like cylinder tube thing would have all of it on it still.
You should have, and that's where this because yes, okay. In order for the audience to empathize with like the virtual people properly, we have to have that same vibe of like, well,
it's one life, yeah.
Like we have to delete, we have to like delete her body once she's in your head, and then we have to like take her out of your head to put her into the doll. Like right, we have to keep it. It always has to be like there has to be something precious that you're preserving, even though like all you're really doing is copying and then deleting. Like you could just not delete the original, right?
There should be. You'd think
there's no if it's just data, if it's just software, there's no reason not to do that. You could just copy paste everyone and like start over again tomorrow.
You could put 100 of yourself into different robots and just
have an army of doom bots sort of.
I wonder if you copied your own consciousness and put your own consciousness in your own head.
Twice as good.
Well, like you could do it then, like, okay, dude, I'm gonna be typing this. You keep looking in my peripheries, like.
No, like you and yourself could together work on problems, and think of stuff, and then be like, we just had a great idea or something like that.
Yeah.
Figure shit out. Yeah, I know.
I wonder. Because like part of me for a lot of this was like that could be pretty awesome, and I could see a thing where like that could be a marketable thing, especially if you could copy consciousnesses. Like okay, I've got Albert Einstein in there. All right, pause him almost all the time, then unpause him when I like. Okay, I got a problem. Well, this is the situation.
Or that could be like a thing. It could be like a mentorship program where like old people could say, yeah, we're gonna like have a few like interviews. I'm gonna like talk to this kid, and everyone knows, hey, that like once you get to like 102, they have to euthanize you to like make room for new people. But we're gonna put your consciousness into like one lucky person, and then you're gonna be like, it's like the Guardian Angel program, season 5, Black Mirror. No, and then like how that works and how you like carry through people, because like the wisdom of like where they're like, listen, you may not feel angry, but you sound angry. And she can pick up on it. Just cool your jets, kid, or whatever. And he's like, okay, fuck, right? Having, carrying stuff through. I don't know.
There's definitely benefits to it.
Yeah.
I think someone in a relationship does not have the same thing. I think a friend better than a girlfriend or boyfriend in your head would be more beneficial to you. Or someone that is also enjoying an aspect rather than someone that's trying to prevent you from doing something.
Someone who could make the choice and like know it's coming for years and kind of like, this is just how our society works. After your physical form goes away, you piggyback on someone else, during their life, and then that's your second life where you just advise and help or whatever.
Yeah.
Because like the guy nails it too. He says, "No privacy for him, no agency for her." Like how long does happiness really last and all that stuff? Anyway.
Yeah.
What does he say? It's like trying to jack off in front of a cop who's also your mom.
Yeah, that was funny.
Those lines. I'm like, oh god, that's right. Fuck, that's crazy.
But this was a great episode. It's a good capper.
This was amazing.
This was a very nice way to end the season.
Yeah.
Any thoughts to close?
This again is one of like my favorite things. I think if someone was like, I watched some Black Mirror, I don't know if I'm into it or something like that, because this is standalone. You can just watch.
It's all standalone. Yeah.
This is like I'm not going to compare their quality, but in terms of like, if I have to show you a show and like get you to understand like why you should watch this show, I would pick this one the same way I would pick like the what are they called? The angels from Doctor
Weeping
Who?
Angels?
Weeping Angels. Yeah. Certain like things where you're like, yep, no, that's the one. You should watch this. And if you don't like this, if you don't like what this is doing,
then you're probably not going to like anything.
Don't bother, because this is not like the best, but like this is like the like epitome of like fucking horrible shit and fucking like thought-provoking shit and just that tale of revenge type shit. Like the whole everything.
No, it all comes together, a nice little bow.
Together.
I like how she lets the monkey watch
while
she does it. That was
she,
big, and takes the monkey with her when she leaves.
She takes the monkey. I fucking love that. And she says like shh and like whatever. And now you got your mom in your head, and you got the monkey doll, and the thing's on fire, and you're driving away. And whatever song was playing.
That'll be a little superhero team for the future.
They're gonna go solve more neurogenic mysteries. Or whatever. I love it.
All right, guys. So that was this episode of Black Mirror. That was this season of Black Mirror. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.